One sort of best practice, I think, are really comprehensive FCPA anti-corruption audits. We at Weatherford have instituted a program now where we have in-house attorneys and in-house forensic accountants, a team of about 10 people who are engaged in these regular audits, where we do a pretty deep dive, not an investigation, but really a risk-based audit in selected countries around the world on a schedule, of course, risk-based schedule, where we're looking for any sort of violations of our anti-corruption policies, procedures, and of course the law. Another thing, of course, is training. You can never train too much. Every time we go out somewhere in the world, whether we're on a training mission or not, we do some training, because you can never tell your folks the anti-corruption story and the message and exhort them to comply with the policies and procedures, learn the policies and procedures. It's hard to get a lot of visibility into companies' programs, but I do think it's very important for other companies to be able to benchmark themselves off of other companies. And I and other colleagues out in other companies look for opportunities to do that, to benchmark against each other. And so, to the extent I've been able to do it so far, General Electric is always sort of noted as the gold standard, and my experience with them has been that they are indeed the gold standard in terms of the robustness of their policy and their procedures. Lockheed Martin is another company that seems to get it right in terms of very robust policies and procedures. And generally, they're the bigger companies who can afford to spend a lot of money because, quite frankly, there's just not a way to do this in a really effective way on the cheap. So I think generally what you're seeing is the bigger companies have the better programs, but that is certainly not universal by any means. I mean, Siemens, of course, was a huge company who didn't have a real program at all. I think 2010 will probably pick up where 2009 left off, and that is the focus by the government on individual liability. I call 2009 the year of the individual just because there were so many individual prosecutions and indictments, guilty pleas. And I think that's going to continue, and it's an important message for compliance folks to take back to their own employees, both the CEO and the guy down on the line working a rig in our case, because the more they understand that it's not just the company that's at risk, but that they could be in jail themselves, the more effective your message is going to be. And I think DOJ, of course, realizes that, the FBI realizes that, which is why they focus on individual liability so much, and they're right to do so, because there's just nothing more effective than the thought of being in an orange jumpsuit behind bars.